Late at night, the old house at number 5 in Alley PCT, HN City, had fallen into silence like the other houses along the street. Inside, X and her family were sound asleep. Everything was still. Suddenly, X woke up. A sharp, intense stomach pain startled her awake. It felt strange. She couldn't tell what kind of pain it was. She tossed and turned, trying to stay quiet so others could sleep. Since marrying into this family, she had never experienced anything like it. The pain kept worsening until her movements woke her husband. He jumped out of bed, switched on the light, and looked at her anxiously. X clutched her stomach, writhing in pain, groaning, unable to speak. Hearing the noise, her mother-in-law rushed in. Then, X suddenly felt something very strange. She was conscious and aware, yet she could no longer control her body. Some force seemed to take over. Slowly, she sat up, legs dangling off the bed. Her eyes turned red and fierce, filled with hostility. Her lips curled slightly, teeth clenched, and she hissed, "I'm back." Her husband felt chills. Her eyes and voice were no longer hers, something eerie and unnatural. He asked nervously,
"What's wrong with you?"
Suddenly, X pointed at him and her mother-in-law, shouting furiously, "I hate all of you. This whole family, young and old. Just seeing you disgusts me. And your granddaughter. I'll drive her insane." After a brief moment of shock, the mother-in-law understood immediately. This wasn't the first time. She realized X was possessed by a spirit. She sighed, exchanged a silent glance with her son. Both understood, the skin crawling. After causing chaos, X lay back down and fell asleep as if nothing had happened. The horrifying night passed. The next morning, X, recalling everything, rushed to her mother-in-law to explain. But instead of panic, her mother-in-law remained calm and slowly told a tragic story from 25 years ago. Back in 1997, a fierce conflict broke out between X's husband's grandfather and his daughter, X's aunt-in-law, over property disputes. In a moment of rage and lost sanity, the grandfather poured gasoline on his daughter and set her on fire. Her body instantly turned into a blazing torch, leading to her tragic death. Immediately afterward, he attempted suicide by poisoning, but was saved in time. He later passed away years later due to old age. The tragedy occurred in this very house. Since then, the aunt's spirit had lingered, causing many strange disturbances. What happened last night was one of them. Hearing this, X was terrified. The thought of living in a haunted house made her hair stand on end. Worse still, the spirit had mentioned the granddaughter, X's own daughter, and threatened to drive her insane. This haunted X for days. Time passed, and the incident faded into silence, until one day. While X and her husband were sitting in the living room, they suddenly heard loud clattering in the kitchen. They rushed in to find utensils scattered across the floor. They froze in shock. Their eldest daughter stood there, furious, grinding her teeth, throwing everything she could grab. "Oh my God, what are you doing?" X cried. The girl screamed back, "Get out, or I'll hit you." What was happening? The couple was stunned. Strangely, moments later, the girl returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. When asked, she only stared blankly. X's worst fear had come true. The spirit had reached her daughter, just as it had threatened. From then on, similar episodes kept occurring. Whenever her daughter had an episode, she would curse her parents, even physically attack them. She also neglected her studies and refused to go to school, despite previously doing well. As a mother, X was heartbroken watching her child behave so erratically. And this wasn't a physical illness that medicine could treat, it was something spiritual. Fortunately, X had encountered Buddhist teachings since the 7th lunar month of 2020. Through reading, she gained some understanding. She realized that spirits like her aunt-in-law, who died unjustly, were more pitiable than frightening. The only solution was to help her find liberation. X went to the temple and asked monks to perform rituals for the aunt's soul. She herself recited the Ksitagava Sutra 7 times, dedicating merit for the spirit's release. But nothing changed. Discouraged, she felt stuck. One day, She read an article titled, "3 Secrets to Making Wishes Come True," by author Quart on Facebook. It gave her a spark of hope. It wasn't that she found a new method, she had already practiced similar things, but she realized she needed to persist wholeheartedly in accumulating merit and dedicating it until results appeared. Karma varies in weight. Some issues require little merit to resolve. Others demand great merit and long perseverance. Giving up too soon is like planting a mango tree and abandoning it before it bears fruit. So X resolved to continue sincerely. She became a full vegetarian, recited 9 more rounds of the Ksitagava Sutra, and even hand-copied it 3 times. Her mother-in-law also copied it 3 times. All merits were dedicated to the aunt's soul, praying for her release from karmic suffering. X encouraged relatives and neighbors to copy the sutra as well, creating a collective effort. Gradually, things improved. Perhaps thanks to these merits, the aunt's spirit finally moved on. The possession stopped. A year passed with no strange incidents. The family returned to normal. X's daughter recovered completely and even passed into a top high school in HN City. Not only X's family improved, others who joined the practice also found their lives becoming smoother. Their faith in Buddhism deepened, and many began daily chanting, "Death is the end." This belief is deeply rooted in many minds. Yet countless real cases worldwide suggest otherwise. Evidence of a spiritual realm continues to appear, affirming life beyond death, though many still refuse to believe. Regardless of belief, the unseen world exists and affects human life. Cycles of resentment can cause immense suffering. Cases like X's are not rare. People suddenly change behavior, act irrationally, harm loved ones, abandon studies or careers. Families suffer, unable to find medical explanations. In desperation, they turn to shamans or exorcists, which can worsen things, increasing hostility and complications. In such situations, the most effective solution is following Buddhist teachings, patiently accumulating merit and dedicating it to help spirits find liberation, just as X did. This benefits both the departed and the living. Now, the old house at number 5 in Alley PCT, after many storms, has finally returned to peace. X feels deep gratitude toward the 3 jewels, whose compassion guides suffering beings like a light in the darkness.